Welcome to the channel, ladies and gents. We are, of course, here to talk about Superman and Lois, Man of Steel. That's this week's episode. What a fantastic episode it was. I'm going to talk as non-spoilery as possible, then get into the bulk of the spoilers, because there was a lot going on in this episode. And it was great, as always. And now I've got some company, Jasper. No, it was a really, really good episode. I'm consistently impressed with this show. I genuinely am. And if you haven't clicked on it, you haven't watched it yet, you've seen all my other reviews, but you're still not quite enticed enough, please do yourself a favour, go watch it. It's genuinely a good show. It almost feels like a throwback to sort of that pre-drivel, agenda crap, just, non-stop, we've got to talk about this, we've got to talk about that, just good stories. That's what it feels like to me. So this week's episode is called Man of Steel. And it's some big play on words. It's not what you would imagine straight from the off, i.e. just Superman. So we'll dive into that today. Guys, just before we do, if you are new here, please do hit subscribe. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you make it through to the end. If you don't, no worries. Returning subscribers and new subscribers, if you're interested in cars, I know, a bit weird, bit left field, but I have a second channel. It's linked in the description box. I'm rebuilding a rally car, the baby GTR. It's the Nissan GT-IR. Check it out, you might like it. But let's go, right? Let's talk about this. Man of Steel. Great episode. Okay, now there are a lot of story elements in this episode that are starting to get tied together. And I really feel like the show is going somewhere now, as in it was going somewhere anyway, and there was lots and lots of plot points. You've got the boys, one of them's got powers, what's going on with that? Do they have to link up together to get powers? What's going on? Because there was that sort of theory running around for a while. What's going on with the ex-Kryptonite and Morgan Edge? What's going on with Captain Luthor? There's been a lot of elements, right? There's been a lot of elements, and it has been going somewhere. But this is the first episode where they're combining them a bit more, I guess. And it works. It's seamless. It actually works really, really well. So, young boy who's got the powers. I said in last week's episode review that he's a pain in the arse. And he is. He's really, really irritating. But he is supposed to be, because that is what a kid would be like. There are some elements which are just not believable. And I feel like this week's portrayal was much, much better than last week's portrayal. So, at the end of last week's episode, he gets super hearing, right? And it's just too much for him. So Superman grabs him, flies off to the Fortress of Solitude. And that's where we open, basically. That's how we open today's episode. He storms into the Fortress of Solitude, drops him down, runs over to the computer, chucks his thing there and goes, what's going on? How can I do this? How can I help my son? And it's nice. This is one of the shows that has positive fatherly figures, and it's so nice, and it's much needed as well. It is needed. You need positive father figures in your life. That's just par for the course. It's psychologically proven, and it's great. It's great to see that. It's great to see that he's there. How can I help him? What can I do? But then the realization, it's a stark realization, is that he can't. And I like that, because it's Superman, the most powerful being on the planet, is powerless to help his son. And in this world, in this universe, in this story, we saw some of that with Martha dying, and his father dying. We saw some of that. But it wasn't lingered on, because I don't think they wanted to tell the origin story that much. We get the origin story, we don't need to go into it. And I feel like this is them bringing that back into the show, him being powerless to help the people around him. And it's needed, because it grounds the character. So that was really, really good. Now, the developments with Morgan Edge, it's a slow burn, but I feel like they're starting to lay the foundation of where we're going to go with it now. Morgan Edge is influential in Superman turning evil in the other universe, the other dimension, world, whatever, the multiverse, right? And I feel like maybe Superman becomes a host for another bit of ex-Kryptonite, or a being that's encased within ex-Kryptonite, because we don't really know what ex-Kryptonite is at this point. But anyone that's infected with it, or has been infected with it, that has then rejected whatever was going on with ex-Kryptonite, has seemingly taken on sort of Kryptonian memories and things like this. And so I don't know whether it's pertaining to that, and obviously how does being infused with ex-Kryptonite suddenly give you powers and knowledge and all this other stuff. So I feel like they're laying the framework for Mork and Edge in the other world, where Captain Luthor, which we'll get to in a minute, because that's where you all came here for anyway, that big reveal, spoiler alert. I feel like that's where they're going with Mork and Edge. You know, in the other world, he was influential in that, and somehow the Man of Steel got infected and basically had an army of Kryptonians as a result of it. And I like the fact that they're laying that down. Lois was really, really good in this episode. Very, very good. It almost, it sounds like a disservice when I just say she's just Lois Lane, right? But it's not. They got the character of Lois Lane so right on this show. She's feisty, smart, witty, intelligent. She does know when to stop. Sometimes a little bit too late, but she does know when to stop. And she knows when she needs Superman. But she's fiercely independent. And she's a very strong character, as Lois Lane should be. And they get her so goddamn right on this show. And the actress is so good. She's really, really good. I like it. I like her a lot. And I actually like all the actors in this at the moment. They've all been really decent. All the effects have been really decent, bar one. Well, there's been a few, but in this particular episode was only one bad effect. And do you know what it was? Just them in a car. It just looked super lame. The green screen sucked. It was a real bad green screen. And then we culminate in the grand reveal of what the Man of Steel actually means, pertaining to the title of this episode, which we'll get to now in spoilers, because I can't really talk much about this episode without going into spoilers. If you haven't watched it, you need to. But for the most, it's just I love this show on a week by week basis. It's just consistently good, and I really do enjoy watching it. So basically, if you've watched it, let me know what you think down below. If you haven't watched it, are you going to watch it? Let me know. But we'll get into spoilers now, because I want to talk about Captain Luthor. So, few things, right? Captain Luthor was revealed in Superman and Lois to be a black dude, and obviously that sent people, a little bit nutso for whatever reason. But they've been playing on it for a while now. He's not actually Lex Luthor. He's not at all. But I do think that there's some inconsistencies here, which we'll get to. Basically, he is John Henry Irons, Steel, a DC character, Steel, who in another DC world, basically Superman got killed by Doomsday, so he took on the role of a superhero. Has a hammer, a suit, all this kind of stuff. It's a good character. It's an interesting reveal that this character is now Steel, basically. He is the Man of Steel, which he calls himself in the episode, and I like that. I like that a lot. As a reveal, it's a really good reveal. Now, what I don't get about this reveal is if he's John Henry Irons Steel, was he working for the military or not? Because we see him in some of the flashbacks with all the other people, and I don't know whether they even called him Luthor or not. Maybe they just called him Captain. I need to go back and double check, but that made me a bit like, oh, have they retconned themselves there? What's going on? I'm sure they haven't. I hope. I'm sure they haven't, but I hope. And just overall, great reveal. They work in how and why the AI is calling him Captain Luthor, because the AI is actually Luthor's. It is Lex Luthor's AI that he stole. And they throw it in the flashback when his daughter's like, but the AI only responds to Luthor. He's like, doesn't matter. This is what we made it for. We're going to go out. I'm going to do it now. And then obviously, I assume in the next episode, we're going to see what happened and how he got sent to this planet. I do feel it's a bit of a shame. I would have actually liked him to be a Luthor from a different dimension. I would have liked that, I think. I think that would have been cool. But all in all, great reveal. Boy saves the day. Comes in. hits him. The hammer, he's got the hammer. The hammer's cool. But Boy comes in, saves the day. Lois stops the Man of Steel from killing Luthor. Because he raises his fist, he's about to lay it down. And Lois goes, stop, it's over. And it's the play on the anger that was in a previous episode. And it's good that they keep remembering these things. But in a previous episode, Clark was like, no, I have to battle that every day. I do get angry and I've got to battle that. It's good. It's a great episode. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, you need to. There's my review. Watch it. Cheers. Take care.